how can you return the real you to yourself? How to understand what do you want to do in life, how to save yourself, and how to continue doing only what your soul wants. What help us to stop worrying about the results of our life. Go after what you really love and find the way to make it work for you. And then you will be a happy person. Tom Petty. Hi guys, I was missing you these 2 weeks, but now I'm back. And I'm going to issue my videos bi-weekly from now on to make you waiting for me and to improve the quality of my content. And today, as always, I'm expressing my thoughts based on my own experience, as I've also faced this notorious middle-life crisis recently. I want to share my considerations about how to jump out of it faster and what help us to stop worrying about the results of our life. I guess exactly this race for the success and results is the reason of our crisis. The point when we are tired, empty, dissatisfied with the life we are living and with the character of our job. For example, many women closer to 30 or 35 become anxious of getting old, looking at the first wrinkles on their faces, starting injections of beauty and other witchcraft. As if they have expiration life and they need to hurry somewhere. We can blame society for creating some weird standards of how successful person should look like, how many property he or she should have by one age or another. As a result, because of their fears, people are ruining their lives. Giving life to children, for example, because we are already 35, sitting at the highly paid, stressful job and getting a stroke at 40, refusing the offer to do what we really love, even for little money, telling ourselves, I do love playing guitar, but I won't make money from it, so let it be my hobby. I want to shake these people by the shoulders and scream, what the hell are you doing with your lives? And how do you like this option? You really wanted to become an actor or become a professional dancer, but you think that I'm already 40, nobody needs me. This is such a teen, I tell you. Thanks to those who are shooting films about people who were nobody until considerable age, but then began dedicating themselves to their favorite business. And finally they succeeded. And someone reached even incredible heights. Well, whose names do you want to hear as an example? Okay, Mary Kay Ash founded her company at 45. John Tolkien published the first 2 books of The Lord of the Rings at 58. Samuel Leroy Jackson became famous only at 46, starring in Pulp Fiction. Yes, many who. Just read about it. I will never forget a 70-year-old gentleman from acting classes which I were attending. He had a dream to star in Hollywood, to receive at least a tiny role in the film. And he had tried to do it once, traveled so far just to try and touch the dream. At that time he failed, but still he has a great desire to keep on trying. I looked at him and thought to myself with admiration, wow, this man is more alive and younger than most of my peers. Today I will highlight 2 main aspects of this subject. First, how can you return the real you to yourself? How to understand what do you want to do in life? The second aspect is how to save yourself and how to continue doing only what your soul wants, how to motivate yourself. To start with, I can say for me it was rather easy to understand my desires. I've always loved the stage. I spent all my childhood dancing and performing, and from the age of 11 I started to sing. By the way, when I was about 9 years old and sometimes missed school due to illness, I used to take books with the lyrics of the Beatles and Rolling Stones and sing my favorite songs together with the record. And today I can already issue a small book with my own poems and some lyrics as well. Okay, of course, I knew that I loved singing, but why the hell did I appear on the stage with my songs only at 23? Due to the fact that I had a speech impediment up to 22, a lisp. And when I realized that I couldn't go on stage with such flow, I visited a speech therapist. I remember that I was embarrassed even to tell the doctor about this problem. Now the story seems to me just not about me. What a nonsense! But at that time it seemed a good reason not to start singing on stage. The second barrier was survival, because music usually doesn't bring a stable income, so you have to master some profession. In my first videos, I've already talked about how I struggled with depression and that I was spending 5 years working as logistics specialist at the international companies. That, as it turned out, it was absolutely unnecessary for me. I tried to combine music and work, but I didn't have enough strength for everything. And nobody will have enough, of course, if you are not lucky to be born as Superman. You can't wear a couple of hats, you know? I believe that the second reason is the most important excuse for the most of people why they don't make money doing something they really like. Well, it's easier to join a stable company and receive a certain amount of money every month. And believe me, I don't blame such people if they really love what they are doing, if they are really satisfied with the lifestyle of the office person. Why not? But for me, it's a nightmare. You know, I swear, even for $1 million, I won't be doing something that I don't want to. I just don't see the point. Why do I need this money if today I'm not happy? Now, at this particular moment, and tomorrow may not come. It sounds corny, but I would look at the person who faced the choice to earn more, but to do what he doesn't like, or devote himself to his favorite business when he was informed about his terminal diagnosis. What would he choose? What do you think? So why do we, being healthy and free, choose the most safety but unpleasant way? Who knows, maybe if you risk to invest your power in your favorite business right now, you will gain much more than while doing something without passion. But what about those who don't know what to do? Well, firstly, the most fundamental, to remember yourself in childhood until the moment when you haven't gone astray. My abilities and inclinations haven't changed at all. I have always been fond of mysticism, writing, dancing, and music. Didn't play with building blocks, you know? Maybe you were sewing super dresses for your dolls, or played in bus with your friends. In any case, you will have to rediscover your abilities. I will recommend you one way, it should help. By the way, if you don't want anything, most likely you are depressed, and I advise you to watch my videos about depression. So to find your favorite doing, use the brainstorming technique. This is just super thing. 4 years ago, I did it and it helped me to reveal some specifics of my favorite activities. Take a piece of paper and write without hesitation 100, not less, things that you would like to do in your life. It can include both achievements and significant results, as well as small but desirable things, such as skydiving, for example. Someone wants it? I don't. I wildly hate extreme. So don't stop and write, even the most crazy things. When you write 100, try to break them down into different categories. For example, creativity, job, body and health, spiritual development, family. Suppose you are a design engineer and you want to design houses. Build your own house, make the exhibition with your works, establish a school for young engineers, travel with the lectures around the world. All these points get under the professional category. But please pay attention to what new aspects of your personality are opening up. It turns out that you are not simply an engineer, but also a speaker, potential teacher, and an artist. In addition, for example, you are fond of tennis and want to open your own tennis court, and you are also vegetarian, and at the court you want to open a restaurant with a vegetarian cuisine where your paintings will hang because you are also an artist. If the first doings were related to your favorite profession, the second one is also important, but it's more like hobby, leisure, creativity. You just put them into different niches. And in the end, what happens? You will definitely identify the aspects of your profession which you should develop. For example, start attending oratory classes, learn how to cook vegetarian dishes. I blew my brain with this brainstorm technique because everything that I have written in my sections is still relevant, and I try at least develop a little to achieve these dreams. It turns out that I don't have only one passion in my life. I guess multi-professionalism will be the most popular and necessary ability of 21st century. For example, I love perfumery. I'm just crazy about the scents. Clothing is not as important to me as perfume, and I would like to invent my perfume one day. I remember this goal, and sometimes I spend an hour in perfume shops and discovering new smells. But of course, this is not my main goal, so I just don't forget about it. But it fills me with joy, and I like to imagine how I will have the whole collection of my favorite smells. You know, it's very important to dream because you have a good chance to receive your little dream just for free. Because when we are thinking emotionally about the things we want, we are doing an order to the universe. And what more about this list? It can highlight the specific character of your job. And you will find your own niche of business. Because if I'm a singer, it doesn't mean that I'm a jukebox, isn't it? I can sing everything and everywhere. I have my unique character of singing. For example, I don't want to sing covers too often, and I don't want to sing death metal. It's a very silly example, but I met people who sincerely don't know themselves. They are so confused that they decide to leave it there and keep on sitting around at their boring job. After you understood what is your favorite business, just start acting, go get education or graduate from special advanced training courses. Gradually, not immediately, you will be able to reach the moment when your favorite business will become your main occupation and source of income. I believe it should happen if you really want to change your life. Maybe there will be a rather long period when you will have to wear two hats. It's normal transition, but your strong intention will solve this inconvenience. I believe so, and I'm living with this credo from now on. And how to keep your intention, not to be blown away after the first failures. And most importantly, how to stop thinking that it's too late to change something. Well, firstly, don't compare yourself with others. Sometimes when I see any new 18-year-old star, about whom I'm talking now, lighting up on the music stage, I want to hang myself, and then I say stop. I entered the stage only at 23, so my time hasn't come yet. And indeed, everyone has different living conditions and different goals, different niches and directions. How can you even dare to compare yourself with someone? I believe that the world is abundant and it's enough for everyone, at least if the goal is to do what you love and earn money with it. Then how someone else's success can prevent it? So stop comparing yourself with others. In your opinion, did this lady even guess that she will become a super fashion model at her age? She was working in pharmacy when her grandson sent her photos to some agency or fashion publishing. Also, I prefer not to listen to those who will never understand me and never support my beginnings. Surround yourself with people who believe in you or at least don't disturb you. For a while, my mother, worrying about my well-being, constantly tried to dissuade me from doing music and was saying, there are so many talented people and it's difficult to earn money, what about your pension, and so on. But in the end, after my words, Mom, I can't do otherwise, she understood my position, so this is what I will tell you. You must be so eager to do something that you cannot breathe without it. Then I will tell you for sure, this is yours. Let others doubt you. You must be true to yourself. You know, I have a song about it. It's called Journey and begins with the words, compare yourself only with yourself, your eyes and brains, your blood and veins. Don't spend your gold afraid of getting old, your skin with scars, wrinkles like the stars. And I do love this song. Lyrics came to me easily during 15 minutes. And this is a message from God for me and those hesitating people like me. I know it. You can watch my music video with this song here. I hope it will inspire you to start your own journey. And how to keep motivation, to keep on doing what you like. There are times when you work, run yourself ragged and receive no feedback at all. Especially it often happens in art professions. Sometimes you literally have to survive. I know what it is. The last time this thought that everything is useless brought me to depression. But you know, a person who cannot live without his beloved business doesn't need to motivate himself. This is just ridiculous. In a business that you are not so interested in, you constantly need to set goals and motivate yourself. By the end of the year, double annual profit, buy apartment, car, earn on vacation. And in this case, you are like a donkey who goes for carrot. And the carrot keeps moving away, and the poor donkey, with all his might, walks along the road hoping to bite off even little piece of carrot. However, you have already heard more than once that the whole point is in the way itself, in the process, and not in the destination, not in the goal. Of course, goals should be set, or rather for joy of achieving them, so that once you will look back and say, I did it. But this shouldn't be an ultimatum, and the goals really need to be set correctly. For example, if you make music to become famous, why don't you just run naked down the street? Maybe you will become famous for a day. Don't think about immediate success in business, and with love, day after day, watch how your fruits ripen. Some of them may fall from the tree prematurely or being eaten by worms, but some will certainly saturate you with their sweetness. Probably I have nothing more to add here. If you find this video useful, subscribe to my channel, and I will try to delight you with the new life-affirming videos. You can also become a patron and thank me on Patreon. Link is under this video. Have a nice day, make your wishes come true, stay true and kind, the rest things never mind.